I cannot believe it. It's already the month of February. So let's talk about my February hopefuls, my February TBR, and break it down a bit. The first book I have on my February TBR, which is actually one of my most anticipated new releases of 2025, is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Deep End is right up my alley. I love a sports romance. I'm super excited to see Ali's kind of like debut into that world. And I've heard great things from people that have read the arc, so I'm super excited to pick this book up. I've already pre-ordered it on Kindle. It's going to be delivered to me. It's gonna be a good one. I'm super excited for this read. The next book I have on my TBR is Scythe and Sparrow, which is the third book in the Ruinous Love trilogy by Brynne Weaver. I loved the other two books in this trilogy. I feel like they were fun, they were different. It was like something new to kind of read, and she did kind of leave the last book on a cliffhanger sort of, so I'm really intrigued to find out what happens in Scythe and Sparrow. I really loved these characters when they were introduced in the other book, so I think this will be a really fun one. This is also a new release in 2025, so I mean, it makes sense. I want to read it when it comes out. I'm so excited. The next book that I have on this list is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I know that her new book, The Sunrise on the Reaping, comes out in March, and I never ended up reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Wow, that's a tongue twister. So I really want to read that before the new book comes out. I know that's technically like not the order. I don't need to read it like that, but I want to read it how she released it. So that's what I plan to do. I was a huge Hunger Games fan growing up, so it just makes sense that, you know, I want to be reading these books. I'm super excited to dive back into that world and to even like watch the movie. Haven't done that yet, so that'll be a really fun activity for me in February. The next book on my TBR is actually Golden Son. My boyfriend and I are reading this series together, so it's just time to finally get to that second book. I've heard kind of like mixed reviews. People either love or hate this series, so I'm excited. Hopefully I love it. I enjoyed the first book, so I'm excited to read the second one and see kind of like what happens next with all of these characters. I'm sure the stakes will be just as high. And then the last book on my February TBR, which, drum roll, because finally wanting to get to it, is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I do want to dive into the ACOTAR series. I am historically not a big fantasy reader. However, I have been convinced. I mean, aside from just everybody on Book Talk talking about this book, literally everybody in my life, those that are readers, those that aren't readers, talk about this book. So I think it's about time I give in and read it. I've had a hold on Libby, and I keep like saying deliver later to my Kindle, and it's finally time. Stay tuned for that update because I am quite interested to see how I end up liking that book. Overall, excited for February and what's to come, so stay tuned if you want to see all of my thoughts on these reads.